just show me how you want to slack one of them? I don't know exactly.
Okay, so we got her flipped around. This is what I'm picking up today. These are all stacks ready to go. So as you can see, when we get a stack, in fact, I'm going to turn on my lights and check my lights while I do this. Get two birds with one stone, shall we? What I do is I put on my hazard flashers. It's basically the same thing as your turn signal. Same connection. I'm going to check all the lights on the trailers. The trailer. Of course, the top trailers aren't hooked up. So this is what I mean, the noses of the trailers are stacked together. And this initial strap here, the first one I sets the tone for the rest of the load. Then every so many feet, we've got another strap. Now what I'm doing back here, I noticed, and Bill actually came up with this as an option, putting an extra strap toward the back to take some of the stress off that back corner strap, because that's holding the majority of that load. That's your point at which the load is pulling up hardest on your load. Those back tires are full of air, so they bounce a little bit. Okay, so those lights all work. The temp tag's on it. Tag light works. All these lights work. Side lights working. Guess I can get my thumb out of the way. It's like pictures my dad used to take 100 years ago with an old 35mm camera. He always had his thumb in the picture. So I'm going to check my brakes. Got to check your brake lights too. So I'm going to turn my lights off, turn the flashers off. And I did have a bottle in here I was using for this. The Kleenex box will work. So I'll just stick the Kleenex box there, so hopefully it'll last long enough for me to get back here. So those brake lights are on. Sorry for the faster moving video. I'm trying to get back here to see it before the box crumples up again. And we have brake lights. Yes, yay. Okay, so I'm looking at this load. That's about 11 feet, give or take. Now this is a heavy load. This is about 22,000 pound load. So it's squashing my truck down pretty good. You can see there's not a ton of room in there, but it's okay. It's within the parameters of what's allowable with this truck and with what I'll put on it. Okay. All right, now there's still one critical thing I have to check. While I was back there, I looked under the trailer, did all that stuff for my pre-trip. The last check I have to do is my brake check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my heavy electric brake gain up to 10. I'm going to put the truck in gear and drive. I'm going to let off the gas, and I'm going to pinch the brake controller together. And I do have brakes. Sometimes it takes a while for them to get really strong. So what I'll do is I'll back it up while they're pinched together. It seems to adjust them a little better. In fact, I'm pretty sure your brakes adjust when you're rolling backwards. Okay, so I've done that. I've got a handle sticking out a little bit. I'm going to go back and adjust that, and then I'll be back and we'll hit the road as soon as I get my paperwork done. I need air in here now. It turned hot on me. It was cold this morning. Now it's almost 75 degrees, but that sun is scorching hot, so I'm going to get some air going. This back on. So when I got here and realized how hot it is out in that sun, I real quick got rid of my undershirt, my thermal. Thank God I could take it off. That would have been rough. Okay, so I've got a little more paperwork I'm going to do. I have my own bill of lading. I always fill one out because this goes in my records. That I have it goes in my trip envelope with all my records. I'm going to go ahead and flip this back around for a minute now. Okay, so 266 miles. I'm going to check my brakes one more time. Yes, they are working. You feel it. You feel it slowing down. Slowing down. Okay, so we're good. Brakes are good. straps look good. Everything looks good, and I'll check all this stuff again, all these straps and stuff down the road a bit, just to make sure. So now the poor truck's got to really work for its living, because this is a heavy load, about 22,000 pounds. That'll slow you down in a hurry. Throw 22,000 pounds on the back of your truck. It'll take the wind right out of your sails. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to reset my fuel economy. I was getting about 17 miles to the gallon, which I'll probably, if I'm lucky, get 7 or 8 to the gallon with this load on. So we'll see. I'm looking at my strap handles, make sure nothing's bobbing around. I did something different this time on the front straps. I've always had this thing about putting my straps on straight, not having any twists or turns in them. But when you've got a strap that's long and it's hitting the wind, if you don't have a twist in it, it'll vibrate. So if you put one twist in that strap, that kind of cures the vibration issue. That's what I did, and it's working, by gosh. I was a little skeptical. I shouldn't have been, because it's bearing out to be true. So I'm taking it real easy right now. I'm only running about 50. Just trying to get the feel of the load. I always do this with a new load. Couple reasons. If anything's going to pop loose, I want to see it, and I don't want to be, cruising at highway speed when it does. Just to make sure I didn't screw anything up from the get-go. And to just kind of get a feel for the load and how the truck's handling it. So this is heavy enough that it squatted the truck down quite a bit. I still had, I think, enough room. He could have raised up the neck a little bit, which would have put more weight on the back of it, onto the back of the load. But I think it's okay. It feels pretty stable. You don't want too much on the back or too much on the front. You want a good balanced load. And unfortunately, the best way to tell if it's balanced is pull it. So you have to just kind of go by experience, and if things look okay. Now what it'll do is if it puts too much weight on the truck, it'll kind of pull the weight off the front end of the truck, and it makes it a little squirrely to handle. If there's too much weight on the trailer, then it gets too squirrely back there. So you want a happy medium where everything is the least amount of squirrely that you can get it and still be good. So, okay, I'm picking up the pace here a little bit, doing 55. Everything feels good. I don't have that far to go. It remains to be seen whether or not I'm going to be able to deliver it tonight. He's going to try and get a hold of him and find out. I hope that they will take it tonight. It would be nice. If they don't, they don't. But unless they're going somewhere, I don't know why he wouldn't. It's just a matter of me backing in and taking my straps off and parking it where he wants it. He doesn't really have to do anything with it. Sign the papers and I'm out of there. So, okay. Now this is the deal with a load. I've got my brakes turned all the way up. I'm going to back them off. You've got to have brakes on your trailer to help you stop something this heavy. I don't want to back them too far. I'm going to knock the gain down to about 5.5. So I do want the brakes on that trailer engaging when I hit the truck brakes. Whole point of having them on there. So, and what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be going down here. I'm going to stay on 80 here for another three miles or so. And I'm going to get on Highway 19, which runs south and will hook me up with I-20. I could turn right here and go down, but it's a little twisty road. I've been down it before with a stack of trailers, and I don't really want to go down it again with a stack of trailers. Too skinny of a road. 19's a good-sized highway. I'm going to put my tow haul in and see how that feels. I usually tow it a little while, just in regular mode, and then I'll try the tow haul and see what that does to improve things or not. And I can't tell you specifically what tow haul does, but I think it takes you into a lower series of gears or something, so you're not running up to as high of a gear before you shift gears, or as high set of a gear or something like that. I don't really know. All I know is it kind of works. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about trucks and trailers and various and sundry things that I probably maybe should know, but I don't necessarily know. So I'm just taking it nice and easy. There's no point in getting excited about it. I'm not going anywhere in a big hurry. My main objective now is to be safe and to keep an eye on my straps, make sure nothing's doing anything it shouldn't be doing. And the double straps toward the back should help alleviate some of that bouncing and moving around on the back corner straps that I was talking about. So far everything's looking like it should. Now I got my mirrors. I can't see the entire trailer top to bottom in my mirror. My mirror's just not especially the right side. Left side I can see all of it, but the right side I can only see part of it. So I focus my right mirror because the angle I'm sitting from that mirror. But I focus that mirror to where I can see the mid-range of the trailers and I can see every ratchet strap. That's the critical part for me to be able to keep an eye on. If something's going to come loose, that's where it's going to come loose at. It's going to be one of the ratchet straps pops loose or vibrates loose or breaks or whatever. So as long as I can see those, I'm fairly confident that everything's okay on that right side. If I really need to take a look at something, I have to move the mirror. Luckily, I have internal controls for my mirror, so I can run that up and look at the top of it if I need to. But for the most part, when I'm running, that's where I keep that mirror pointed so I can see what's going on there. Okay, that was a little rough. This is a nice heavy load. I mean, it's enough of a load. Plenty enough. I really don't want to haul anything heavier than this. I mean, I've kind of got my limit set in my head of 25,000 pounds is the maximum I'll put on this truck. I really don't even want to go that high. This is plenty. I can technically and legally go up to 29,000. But why? I mean, what's the point when that's going to wear out my truck sooner and be harder on all the components, the rear end, the engine, everything. So it's unnecessary to do that. But the benefit of having a higher legal limit for me as far as on paper is when I go through a weigh station, I'm not even going to be anywhere near my limit. I'm always going to be well underneath my weight limit. So I shouldn't have any weight issues. Okay, this is Highway 19. This is where I'm going to turn south. And you'll notice, I don't know if you can notice or not, but I'm staying way to the outside of the corner when I turn in a curved ramp like that. stay as far left as I can because I want that back set of tires on the trailer to follow in the lane and not run over the curb or anything. So I get over as far left as I can, making a right-hand turn. And in places where it's not wide enough, I'll go ahead and go across into the other lane and make a keyhole turn. But for the most part on highways, that's not required. That's more of a for smaller, narrower streets. Okay, we're doing all right. Barbecue and coffee, and I always have a load on when I pass that place. I can't get in there to get barbecue or coffee. Darn it. Now you can hear the weight on it doing this climbing. I'm down to 50 miles an hour right here because I didn't get a whole lot of speed built up before I hit this hill. So we're just creeping up the hill, creeping along. Okay, you can hear the shifting of gears in this engine. It's an automatic truck. So you can tell when it's working harder and then when it goes up to another gear or what. You can hear it shifting, feel it shifting too. Okay, I got another almost 6 miles to go till I get to I-20. So I'm trying to pick up enough speed that I'm not going to be backing up traffic over here and ticking people off. But I'm just not going to be able to get up a whole lot of speed because there's not as much room in these hills for me to build up speed to maintain it coming up over the hill as heavy as this load is. It's just what it is. So I'm trying not to slow anybody down or back them up. I'm not going to win any races either. Okay, now I've got it up to 65. That won't last long because I got another hill I got to climb. Everything's holding together okay. I don't have anything looking wiggy, which is a good thing. We don't want anything to look wiggy back there. So I guess if I get stuck under this load tonight, it's just going to be a longer week because I'll lose a bunch of drive time having to sit that I could be using tonight coming back over. Having to sit there and wait to deliver this in the morning. You know, basically when it comes down to it, I'm going to have to stay someplace tonight. So it's just easier if I don't have to mess with trailers. I've got a lot more options of places to stay if I don't have a 30 feet of trailer behind me that I got to get in and out of a motel parking lot. So I'm hoping that he'll get a hold of them and that they'll say, yeah, bring it on in, not a problem. However, people will do what people want to do, and if he doesn't want to take it tonight, I can't make him. So we'll see. So this is the kind of stuff I over worry myself about. I shouldn't even be worried about it. I shouldn't even think twice about it. It's just ridiculous. Self-inflicted anxiety is what that is. And it's kind of crazy. Okay, so this wasn't even supposed to be my load this week. I was supposed to be on my way to Pennsylvania. And I may still yet get sent out there. Of course, if I do too much of this, I won't have time to get out there and back. So He may pull me off this tomorrow and send me on out, or he may not. I guess it entirely depends on what the other guy's doing with his truck. His truck broke down, which is why I'm here. Now, there was a stack in there that it was a stack of 2 trailers. Every once in a while they have just a 2 stack, and I'm always wishing that was my load, but no such luck. So these loads are paying really well right now, which makes it worthwhile for me. Very much worthwhile, even though this is out of my usual area. I say usual, where they usually run me is what I mean, because I mean they can send me anywhere, and they do. But I don't come down here as often. But they've got another guy who's been with them a lot longer than I have. And I think this is his preferred setup down here. I think he likes working out here. But I'm happy to help out. I like that whole twist in the front tie down thing. I don't know why I didn't think of that months ago, because I knew, I've known for a long time that if you've got straps that are flapping in the wind, you can cut that out by twisting them once. So maybe I can make these ratchet handles last a lot longer than the last batch did. Okay, I'm fixing to get on I-20. I'm going to go over through Shreveport and then down through Alexandria. Too late for me to stop for that one, folks. I'm sorry. I'll stop twice at this one. When you got a load on like this, you can't stop instantly, so given the option of screeching to a burning halt at a yellow light, I'll just choose to go on slowly and carefully through that yellow light and clear the intersection. If I tried to stop that close into it, I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't come to a stop before I was halfway out in it anyway. So okay, here we go on I-20. It's a racetrack out here, and I'm not going to be even halfway competing speed-wise. So what I'll do is I'll find the speed that the truck feels best running at with this load. And I'll just run at that speed. I'm not going to try and do 75. I probably could run 75 downhill. So the hard part of delivering this load is going to be getting the trailers up off of my truck. And I can't remember if this guy's got a forklift or something to pick it up off there with, but I don't think he does. I think last time I was here I had to crank it up by hand, and it's a job cranking these trailers up when they've got 2 trailers sitting on top of them by hand. So I don't know, we'll see. And if I remember correctly, last time I was here they were busy doing something else, and I didn't ask for any help or anything, but it took me a while to get it cranked up off of there. And then I was having trouble getting my straps undone. I'd over tightened some of them, which amazingly enough you can do. So I was fighting with them to get them apart, to get them unhooked. Now I know a little bit more about how to do that. I didn't know as much about it at the time. So it seemed like it took me a long time to deliver them. Hopefully it'll be a little smoother this go around. It's been a long time since I've been over here. It was one of the first stacks I hauled, I think. One of the first 5 or 6 anyway. And I hadn't worked all the kinks out of my system. I didn't even know that I had the kinks in it to work out. How much I didn't know at the time. So I'm running a pretty comfortable rate here. The truck feels like it's doing all right. I'm running about 65, 67 in that range. So that's fast enough. I'm not terribly slowing down everybody behind me or clogging things up too bad. They can see, coming up behind me, they can see I'm moving a little slower. So. But I'm not out here running 45 either. So. And I have had loads, not so much with this truck, with my big truck, the 2-ton I used to have. I had some loads on that thing that I had to run 55, 45 and 55 up and down hills. That was just, they were so heavy. I'm glad I don't do that anymore. That was a little stressful. Nothing's bouncing around back there very much. Everything looks pretty stable. That's what I want to see. So I actually comparing this to the aluminum stack I brought back from Pennsylvania. This is a comparable load as far as the trailer sizes. The difference is these are steel trailers and those were aluminum, so those were a lot lighter. That whole load was maybe 15,000, 16,000 pounds. So it was a good 5,000 or 6,000 pounds lighter than this one. But amazingly enough, I thought I would get such good fuel mileage with that because of the weight difference. Well, I didn't figure in the wind drag on the tongues of the trailers. As you can see how those tongues are stacked up on each other. And that creates a lot of drag. So basically I'm getting the identical fuel mileage with this stack that I was getting with the aluminum stack. It's bizarre. But so evidently wind drag has more to do with fuel mileage than the weight that you're actually pulling, I would say. There's more of a correlation with the drag. Which is not to say that you're going to get the same mileage pulling something that weighs 22,000 pounds with very low wind drag that you would get just running your truck without trailers on it. But the more drag you have, the less mileage you're going to get. So it's kind of interesting. I would not have expected it to be that similar, given that big, huge difference in weight. All other proportions are roughly the same. There are some differences between the brands, but because it's 2 different brands of trailers, but basically it's the same silhouette, same profile, just different materials. know, the yardsman there that was helping me, he's been there since I've been hauling out of there. He's the one that usually comes out and helps me. And he really, you know, he does a lot more than he needs to. But, you know, I do appreciate his help. That it takes me longer, you know, it would take quite a bit longer for me to do it all by myself. At the same time, there are days when he's so busy he doesn't have time to help, which is fine, you know, I adapt either way. I'm just watching my straps on this side. My strap handle started kind of vibrating when this truck started to pass me, and now they've stopped. So that was just wind off that truck blowing them around a little bit. They're pretty tight, but they still will move around a little bit. You know, they can be affected to some degree. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to be watching these and watching the road, and watching these and watching the road. Looking down the left, looking down the right, looking at the road. So I think I'll stop here and maybe pick it up once I figure out if I'm going to be able to deliver these or whatever, or if I see some nice scenery over in Louisiana or something, I'll start it back up. So until then, I will see you later. Thanks for riding with me.